The forest was quiet, too quiet. The human explorer, Ethan Ward, walked slowly across the strange ground of the alien planet. Every step made a soft crunch, like he was stepping on tiny crystals. Blue mist floated above the soil, moving like it was alive. Ethan had explored many worlds, but this place felt different, colder, heavier, like something was watching him from the shadows. He checked his scanner. No life signs. No movement. The forest looked dead, but his instincts whispered something else. A sudden wind pushed through the glowing trees, carrying a strange smell, burned metal and smoke. Ethan stopped and looked around. Someone was here, he muttered. Recently. Before he could take another step, a sharp scream tore through the forest. Not human. Not animal. Something terrified. Ethan froze. The scream echoed again, closer this time. Then, out of the thick bushes, a small figure stumbled into view, an alien child, no older than 7 in human years. Its skin was pale silver, glowing under the forest light, and its eyes were large and blue, filled with tears. The child saw Ethan and rushed toward him, almost falling in panic. Its tiny hands grabbed his arm tightly. "Human, please!" The child cried, voice shaking. "You must help. My mother is trapped. She won't make it." Ethan's heart tightened. He knelt to the child's level. "Slow down," he said softly. "Tell me what happened." But the child shook its head desperately. "No time. She is hurt. She is dying." Tears rolled down its bright cheeks. "They came, the metal hunters. They took her. Trapped her. She saved me, but now. She is going to die." Ethan placed a steady hand on the child's shoulder. "Where is she?" "Take me." Before the child could answer, the ground trembled beneath them just once, like something heavy had stepped nearby. The child's eyes widened. In fear. "They are coming back," it whispered. "They always come back." Ethan stood up, scanning the trees. No shapes, no lights, no movement. But he felt it. A presence. Watching. Hunting. He turned back to the child. "What's your name?" I am Leary." The child wiped its face. "Please, human Ethan. My mother is strong, but the trap is killing her. You are the only one left. You are the only one who can help." Ethan didn't know how this alien child knew his name. He didn't know why there were no records of any species living here. But he knew one thing. He couldn't leave the child alone. "All right, Leary," he said. "Take me to her. I'll do everything I can." Leary grabbed his hand tightly and pulled him toward a narrow path hidden behind glowing vines. They moved quickly, but the deeper they went, the stranger the forest became. Trees looked twisted, like they had been melted. The air smelled of burned circuits. Ethan found metal pieces scattered on the ground, broken parts of machines. "Leary," Ethan said quietly. "What did this?" "The steel hunters," the child whispered. "They came from the sky. They take people. They trap them. They drain them." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. "Why your mother?" "She is important. She knows things. She tried to protect us." Leary's voice broke again. "She saved me. But now she is trapped in an energy cage. It hurts her. It eats her life." The trees around them trembled softly, like something large brushed against them. Leary squeezed Ethan's hand. "Please hurry. If we are late, she will not survive." Ethan nodded. Every sense in his body screamed danger, but he kept moving. Somewhere ahead, a mother was dying. Somewhere behind, something was following them, and Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Leary pulled Ethan deeper into the alien forest, moving fast despite shaking legs. The path ahead grew darker as tall, glowing trees bent overhead, forming a tunnel of blue light. Every few steps, Leary looked back to make sure Ethan was still following. Every time Ethan nodded, Leary forced a small, fearful breath and kept going. The silence was wrong, too heavy, too still. Ethan walked carefully, eyes scanning everything, the roots, the branches, the strange floating dust. He had been in dangerous zones before, but this place felt alive in a hostile way, like the forest itself remembered pain. "Leary," he said quietly, "how far to your mother?" "Not far, but the path is dangerous," Leary whispered back. "There are traps, old traps, new traps, and sometimes the hunters leave machines hiding under the dirt." Ethan slowed. "Show me where to step." Leary nodded quickly and pointed to narrow stones half buried in the glowing soil. "Only step on these. The ground beside them wakes the machines." Ethan followed Leary's precise footsteps. He noticed something strange, marks carved into the trees, tall lines like someone had dragged metal claws across the bark. Some were fresh, some were dripping with dark oil. "Steel hunters," Ethan murmured. Leary nodded, trembling. "They cut everything. They break everything. They do not feel. They do not stop." The child suddenly stopped and held an arm out. "Wait." Ethan. Froze out ahead on the ground lay something that looked like a vine, but too metallic, too stiff. It twitched lightly, like a snake waking from sleep. Leary whispered, "Tripwire trap. If we touch it, the hunter wakes." Ethan crouched, examining it. It wasn't a vine, it was a thin silver cable connected to a small glowing cylinder. He had seen similar tech long ago in Warzone's pressure traps that activated autonomous drones. He looked around. "Where's the hunter?" Leary pointed upward with trembling fingers. Ethan slowly lifted his eyes. Above them, half hidden in the branches, was a machine shaped like a spider mixed with a metal scorpion. Dark plates covered its body, and its single red eye stared blankly ahead, inactive. "But waiting." Ethan whispered. "If we don't touch the wire, it stays asleep?" "Yes," Leary breathed. "Mother stepped on a wire. That is how they caught her." Ethan nodded and guided Leary around the trap. They moved quietly, almost holding their breath until the machine faded from view. As they walked, Ethan began to notice more signs: bent branches, crushed crystals on the ground, streaks of dried energy burns. Something big had passed through here, something strong. And Leary had run through this all alone? The child must have been terrified beyond words. "Leary," Ethan said softly, "how did you escape the hunters?" Leary looked down. "Mother pushed me. She screamed at me to run. I didn't want to leave her, but she made me." A fresh tear rolled down the child's cheek. "I heard her cry. I heard her in pain. I wanted to go back, but I was scared." Ethan gently placed a hand on Leary's shoulder. "It's okay. You're brave, Leary. You did the right thing." The child managed a small nod and continued forward. Suddenly, the trees opened into a wide clearing. Strange metal pillars stood in a broken circle, humming faintly. Some were cracked, some melted, others completely destroyed. "What happened here?" Ethan whispered. "This was our home," Leary said, voice hollow. "The steel hunters found us 2 nights ago." Ethan turned slowly. The destruction was massive: homes crushed, fires burned out, deep claw marks in the soil. This wasn't a simple attack. It was a hunt. He noticed something else: large footprints, machine tracks, and drag marks leading toward a narrow canyon. I pointed. "That way." "Mother is there." Ethan felt his pulse rise. "Let's move, but stay close." They stepped toward the canyon, but behind them, a faint mechanical sound clicked to life. Something had awakened. Ethan and Leary hurried toward the narrow canyon, but the faint mechanical clicking behind them grew louder, echoing through the forest like metal teeth grinding together. Ethan didn't turn around. He didn't need to. Something had awakened. Something was following. "Keep going," he whispered to Leary. "Don't stop." Leary nodded but gripped his hand tighter. The path became steep as they moved between high glowing rocks. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, alien writing Ethan had never seen before. "Leary," he asked softly, "what do these symbols mean?" The child touched one carefully. "They warn us about danger. My people carved them long ago, before the hunters came." "What are the steel hunters?" Ethan asked. Leary stopped, breathing shakily. The shadows around them vibrated with the distant hum of machines. "They come from the sky," Leary whispered. "They are not alive, not like us. They are machines built for only one thing: capture." "Capture? For what?" "They take energy," Leary said. "Life energy. Anything alive, they drain it." Ethan frowned. "Why your people?" Leary lowered its head. "Because we have strong energy inside us. My mother, she has more than anyone. She knows things about the old ways, the old power. She can speak to the forest. She can open the ancient doors." Ethan raised a brow. "Ancient doors?" "Yes," Leary said. "Doors that lead deep inside the planet. Places where great knowledge sleeps. My mother is a guardian. She was chosen to protect these secrets." Ethan felt the weight of those words. "So the steel hunters took her because she's important." Leary nodded. "They want her knowledge. They want the energy she protects." The child's voice cracked. "And they want me too." Ethan knelt in front of Leary, placing both hands on the alien child's shoulders. "They won't take you, not while I'm here. Not while I breathe." Leary's eyes filled with tears again, but this time they weren't only from fear. There was relief too. The ground rumbled slightly. A deep metallic sound rolled through the canyon walls. The hunters were getting closer. "We need to move," Ethan said. As they walked further, the canyon widened into a long passage filled with strange plants glowing softly. Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something had lived here for centuries. The air tasted different, like old magic mixed with electricity. Leary pointed ahead. "There. We are close." Ethan spotted something: burn marks on the rocks, scratches deep enough to break stone, and black dust scattered on the path. A battle had happened here, a violent one. "Who fought here?" Ethan asked. "My mother," Leary whispered. "She tried to stop the hunters. She used the old power, but she was outnumbered." "How many hunters?" Ethan asked. Leary swallowed hard. "Many." Ethan tightened his grip on his blaster. He didn't like those odds. Not one bit. As they moved forward, the glowing walls revealed more signs: broken armor pieces, damaged metal claws, and something strange: small glowing crystals floating in the air, pulsing slowly. "What are these?" Ethan asked. Leary touched one gently. "Memories. Left by those who fought. They are echoes of what happened here." Ethan watched as the crystal flickered and projected a faint image: Leary's mother, tall and powerful, standing against towering metal hunters. She fought with glowing hands, her energy bright as the sun. But in the vision, Ethan watched her stumble, then fall. Leary looked away, unable to watch. Ethan took a deep breath. "Your mother is strong. She's still alive. We'll reach her." The child nodded weakly but kept walking. Suddenly, a chilling metallic scream echoed through the canyon, a sound full of hunger and cold intent. Ethan immediately pushed Leary behind him. The steel hunters had found their trail, and now they were coming fast. The metallic scream echoed through the canyon again, sharper this time, like a blade scraping over stone. Ethan's heart thudded hard as he stepped in front of Leary, raising his blaster. The air grew colder. Even the glowing plants dimmed, as if they were hiding from what was coming. "Leary," Ethan whispered, "stay behind me. Do not run unless I tell you." Leary nodded quickly, though fear shook the child's small body. A thin mist crept across the ground. Ethan recognized it instantly: hunter fog. The steel hunters used it to sense heat, movement, and energy. If they stepped wrong, the machines would lock onto them instantly. Slow metal footsteps clicked from behind a rock pillar. Then another. And another. 3 hunters emerged, tall, spider-like machines with sharp legs and glowing red eyes. Their bodies were made of black plates, shining faintly under the canyon light. Each step they took felt like a countdown to death. One hunter turned its red eye toward Ethan. It scanned him slowly, and its body expanded with a low, hungry hum. It sees us, Ethan muttered. Then shriek. The first hunter lunged like a metal monster, legs stabbing at the ground as it charged. Ethan grabbed Leary and dove behind a large stone. The hunter slammed into the pillar, cracking it clean down. Middle, dust exploded into the air. Leary covered its face. They found us! They found us! Ethan peeked from behind the rock and fired. Blue energy shot from his blaster and hit the hunter's eye, making it stagger back with a sharp electronic screech. But the other 2 hunters were already moving. Fast. Too fast. Ethan pulled Leary to a new position as the second hunter fired a burning laser beam. It sliced through the air, melting part of the canyon wall like butter. Leary, stay low, Ethan ordered. The child pressed against the stone floor, trembling but listening. Ethan aimed at the thin joints on the hunters, legs its weak spots. He fired twice. Sparks exploded, and the hunter collapsed with an angry metallic hiss. One down, Ethan said through clenched teeth. The third hunter rushed toward him immediately, claws snapping like knives. Its movements were sharper than the others. Smarter. It leaped. Ethan rolled, barely escaping as the claws struck the ground where he had stood a second earlier. The stone shattered into pieces. Ethan fired again, but the hunter dodged quickly, moving like it could predict his shots. Ethan! Leary cried. It is a leader. They think faster. They kill faster. Great, Ethan muttered. Just what I needed. The leader hunter spread its legs and released a loud pulse. The sound hit Ethan like a wave, knocking him back. His blaster fell from his hand and skidded across the rocks. The hunter moved in for the kill. Leary screamed, "No, leave him." Something inside the child lit up a faint blue glow around Leary's hands. Energy danced like tiny sparks. The hunter hesitated. It tilted its head, confused by the sudden energy spike. Ethan used that moment. He lunged toward his blaster, grabbed it, and fired directly into the hunter's core. The shot pierced the metal, and the machine exploded into glowing shards. Silence filled the canyon. For one short breath, then the first hunter, the one Ethan had damaged earlier, dragged itself toward them, sparks flying from its legs. Its red eye flickered madly. It was dying, but it wanted to take someone with it. It aimed at Leary. Ethan didn't think he ran. He tackled the child just as the hunter fired one last beam. The shot missed by inches and burned into the canyon floor. The hunter's body trembled, then fell still forever. Ethan breathed hard. Sweat dripped down his forehead. "Leary, are you hurt?" The child shook its head. "No, but more will come. They always come in groups." Ethan looked down the canyon. I was right. Far away, deep in the mist, more red eyes began to blink. Awake. The first attack was over. The real danger was just beginning. Ethan and Leary moved quickly through the canyon, not stopping even for a second. The battle had taken all of Ethan's strength, but he forced himself forward. He knew the steel hunters would not stay down for long. Machines never rested. Machines never feared, but Leary's mother. She did not have much time left. As they moved deeper, the canyon walls narrowed again, forming a long tunnel. Strange blue lights flickered across the stone, almost like they were guiding the 2 travelers. The air here felt heavier, warmer, almost alive. Leary kept looking ahead anxiously. "We are close," the child whispered. "I can feel her. I feel her pain." Ethan's chest tightened at the words. They turned a corner, and Ethan froze. Ahead lay a large open area hidden deep inside the canyon. The ground was covered in glowing dust, and tall stone pillars circled the center like ancient guardians. But Ethan's eyes fell on the middle of the clearing, and his heart dropped. There she was, Leary's mother, a tall alien woman with shimmering silver skin, weak, pale, barely breathing. She hung inside a floating energy cage. Blue electric lines wrapped around her body, draining her life slowly, painfully. Her eyes were half closed. Each breath trembled like it might be her last. Leary ran forward with a cry. "Mother!" Ethan quickly grabbed the child. "No, wait. It might be dangerous," Leary struggled, desperate. "She needs me. Let me go." Ethan shook his head. "Look around, Leary. This place is a trap. Running in will only get you caught too." Leary stopped fighting. Tears streamed down the child's face. "But she is dying." Ethan scanned the area carefully and then saw them. 3 steel hunters. But these were different, bigger, thicker armor. Red energy veins glowing along their necks. They stood like statues, motionless, guarding the cage. Their eyes were dark, silent. "Sentinels," Leary whispered in fear. "They protect the cage. They do not move unless someone tries to free her." Ethan studied the cage. Its energy flickered in a slow pattern, pulsing like a heartbeat. Strange alien symbols were etched onto metal plates around it. "What is this cage?" Ethan asked quietly. "It drains energy," Leary said. "My people, our life force is strong. The hunters feed on it. My mother is powerful, so the cage is taking everything from her." Ethan clenched his jaw. "How long has she been trapped?" "Many hours," Leary whispered. "Too many." As if hearing her child's voice, the mother's weak eyes opened. Slightly, she looked at Leary and managed a faint smile. "Leary, my child." Her voice was barely a whisper. "You survived." Leary broke into a sob. "Mother, I'm here. I'm here with the human. We came to save you." The mother's eyes shifted to Ethan. For a moment, she looked surprised, then grateful. "Human," she breathed. "You came." Ethan nodded firmly. "I won't leave you here." But the cage suddenly crackled with bright energy, making Leary's mother scream in pain. Ethan flinched. "What was that?" Leary trembled. "The cage reacts when someone gets close. It senses threats. If we try to open it, the cage will explode." Ethan's eyes widened. "So how do we free her?" Leary shook its head hopelessly. "I do not know. I do not know." Ethan stepped toward the cage slowly, examining the pillars. He noticed a strange pattern round metal plates placed in a perfect circle. Some were glowing. Some were dark. "Leary, look at those plates," he said. "Do they control the cage?" "Yes," Leary said. "But they are protected by the sentinels. If we touch them, the sentinels wake, and they kill." Ethan took a deep breath. So it was a race. A deadly puzzle. A fight he might not win. But one truth stood clear. If they did nothing, Leary's mother would die. He turned to the child. "Leary, stay behind me, no matter what happens." Leary stared up at him, eyes filled with fear. "Ethan, are you sure?" Ethan lifted his blaster, jaw set. "No, but I'm going anyway." And with that, he stepped toward the first glowing plate. The sentinel's eyes lit up bright red. They had awakened. The moment Ethan stepped toward the first glowing plate, the 3 sentinels awoke. Their red eyes lit up like burning coals, and their metal bodies unfolded with sharp clicks. Dust rose from the ground as their heavy legs moved into attack positions. Leary gasped and grabbed Ethan's arm. "They are awake. They will kill us." Ethan gently pushed Leary back. "Stay behind that rock. Don't move until I say." Leary hesitated, but obeyed, crawling behind a broken pillar and hiding with shaking hands. The sentinel stepped closer. Unlike the earlier hunters, these machines moved slowly, but with terrifying power. Their bodies were thicker, their claws larger, and their sensors stronger. They were built for one purpose: protect the cage at any cost. One sentinel emitted a deafening metallic roar that echoed through the canyon. Cracks formed in the ground as the tremor spread. Ethan raised his blaster, eyes narrowing. "All right, come and get me." The first sentinel charged, slamming its legs into the ground. Ethan dodged to the side just in time. The machine crushed a stone pillar behind him. Like it was nothing more than sand. Ethan fired 3 shots at its core. The shots bounced off. No damage. "Great," Ethan muttered. "Armored." The second sentinel fired a long energy beam at him. Ethan threw himself behind a rock as the beam sliced through the air, melting everything it touched. The heat scorched his arm even behind cover. Leary cried out, "Ethan, be careful." The third sentinel moved toward the control plates, placing itself between Ethan and the cage as if mocking him, daring him to try. Ethan scanned the area fast. Couldn't destroy the machines. He couldn't break the cage by force. He needed a different plan. Then he saw it. Each sentinel had a red power core on its back. "Protected but not invincible," Ethan whispered. "That's it." He stood, shouting loudly to attract the sentinels again. The first sentinel lunged. Ethan sprinted toward it, sliding under its body. As he passed beneath, he fired a single shot upward. Direct hit. The sentinel screamed, sparks exploding from its back as it crashed to the ground, twitching. One down. But there was no time to celebrate. The second sentinel rushed at him, faster than the first. Ethan climbed a broken pillar and leaped off as the machine fired another beam. The beam missed him but struck the third sentinel, breaking part of its armor. "Perfect," Ethan whispered. He ran behind the damaged sentinel and fired directly at the exposed core. Another hit. The sentinel stumbled, falling to its knees, glowing weakly before collapsing. Only the second sentinel remained, and it was furious. It charged again, claws snapping like blades. Ethan ducked behind the cage, using it as cover. The sentinel hesitated for a moment. If it fired, it might damage the cage. "Come on," Ethan whispered. "Make a mistake." The sentinel raised its legs, preparing to strike Ethan from above. Leary screamed, "Nitrogen monoxide!" Suddenly, a bright blue glow exploded from behind the rock. Leary ran out, small hands shining with strange, powerful energy. The sentinel paused, confused by the spike in life force. It turned its attention toward Leary. Ethan's heart dropped. "Leary, get back!" But the child stood tall, shouting, "Leave him alone!" The sentinel recognized the energy. It was the same energy it was draining from Leary's mother. It stepped toward the child. Ethan moved instantly. He sprinted toward the sentinel, jumped onto a broken pillar, then onto the machine's back. He grabbed its armor and pulled himself up. The sentinel bucked wildly, trying to throw him off. Ethan steadied himself and aimed at the red core point blank. "Goodbye." He fired. The core exploded in a shockwave that threw Ethan off his feet. He hit the ground hard, dust flying around him. Silence fell. All 3 sentinels lay motionless. Leary rushed to Ethan, crying, "Ethan! Ethan, are you hurt?" Ethan winced, sitting up slowly. "I'm all right, but we're not done. We need to free your mother." He looked at the cage. It flickered wildly, weak, unstable. One wrong move could kill her, but doing nothing would kill her too. Ethan stood, breathing hard. "This is it," he whispered. "We free her now, or we lose her forever." Asterisk, the air around the energy cage crackled and hummed like a storm trapped in glass. Ethan stood in front of it, breathing hard, while Leary clung to his arm, trembling. The cage flickered, pulsing faster, as if it knew they were trying to free the mother inside. One wrong move and everything, her life, their lives could be gone in an instant. "Leary," Ethan whispered, "we have to work together. Can you do it?" The child nodded, tears streaming down the glowing cheeks. "I will try. Mother taught me the old ways." I remember some. Ethan gave a firm nod. All right. I'll handle the machines. You focus on her energy. Together, we can break the cage. Leary closed its eyes and stretched small hands toward the cage. Blue energy shimmered from the child's palms, meeting the flickering energy of the cage. It pulsed back and forth, clashing, twisting. Ethan felt the vibration through the ground and had to hold onto a nearby rock to stay steady. Keep going, Leary. Don't stop. Ethan shouted as he fended off the weak sparks and small hovering drones that had survived the Sentinel battle. They tried to attack but froze under the child's energy surge. The cage began to crack slowly. Blue light split, revealing the mother's tired face. She tried to reach out, her voice a weak whisper. Leary, Ethan, careful. It's almost too late. Ethan's chest tightened. Almost there. Just a little more. The blue energy from Leary's hands expanded, wrapping around the cage like a ribbon of light. The humming became deafening, shaking the rocks around them. Sparks flew. The cage's energy lines began snapping, breaking into pieces like shards of glass dots suddenly. A massive explosion of light erupted from the cage. Ethan shielded his eyes. The wind threw him backward, knocking him to the ground. Dust and smoke filled the canyon dot when he opened his eyes. The cage was gone. The mother lay on the ground, weak but alive. Leary ran forward and wrapped her arms around her, sobbing and shaking. Mother, you're safe. You're alive. The child cried. The mother's eyes softened as she looked at Ethan. You saved her, she whispered, voice trembling. A human. You risked your life for us. Thank you. Ethan shook his head, exhausted and muddy. I didn't do it alone. Leary helped too. And you gave us a chance. The mother managed a small smile, her strength returning slowly. She touched Leary's hair gently. My brave child, you remembered the old ways. You helped save us. Leary looked up at Ethan. Eyes shining. You are human, but you are like family now. Ethan felt a warmth in his chest he hadn't felt in years. A human on a distant alien world could make a difference. He had faced machines, traps, death, and survived. All for hope, courage, and compassion. Far away, the broken sentinels lay scattered across the canyon floor. The steel hunters would return eventually, but for now, life had won. The mother's energy stabilized, the blue glow fading into calm. Ethan turned to Leary. What now? He asked softly. Leary smiled faintly. We go home. Or at least try. But the world is safer, thanks to you. The mother stood slowly, helping the child beside her. She looked back at Ethan. You have shown what humans are capable of. She said, voice strong now. Courage, kindness, hope. Our people will never forget this. Ethan nodded, looking at the small family reunited. A sense of pride and humility filled him. In that moment, he realized something. Humanity was not about power or strength or weapons. It was about heart, sacrifice, protecting others even when the odds were against you. As the alien sun dipped below the canyon walls, casting golden light across the clearing, Ethan, Leary, and her mother began their slow journey back. Behind them, the broken machines and scattered energy shards were a reminder of the battle, but also of what had been saved. And for Ethan, far from home on a strange world, one truth shone brighter than any alien sun. Humans can be heroes, even among the stars.